Greetings and welcome to Ballads at Midnight. If this is our very first time meeting, hello there, how are you doing? My name is Alterian, and I bring for you the most beautiful, colorful, sad, emotional, cheerful story games throughout most different genres, mainly indie games. And now I have found something that is called Ballad at Midnight. Has some very good reviews, should be fun. It's about a female bard that's a little bit sarcastic and maybe on the bad side of the law, but she's gonna get thrown into a castle with a vampire. Let's see how this will go. And on the side note, guys, Chapter 1, Prelude to Dawn. I tried to do a little bit of voice acting as well. I'm not a professional voice actor, I'm just an idiot who tries and loves to do it. Bear with me. Female voice. Oh, my wrists are itching. My stomach is churning and empty. Oh, my legs are sore. A swath of hemp fabric strung out around my cheek and tied in a knot behind my head. Oh, it's shafting against the corners of my mouth. There's a bitterness in my tongue. I idly wonder if there's a taste of regret. My two armored escorts right ahead of me, exchanging hushed words. I take a shirt and make a short, unhappy noise to contribute to the conversation. They ignore me. But are you sure, sir? Really are you? Shouldn't we stop to make camp before sundown, sir? The younger guardsman is jittery and demanding, with a stooped posture that reminds me of a rat. His round face is marred by pocket marks and worry lines. No need. We're making good time here. The other guard, as old and large as the cavern wall, has a deep, rusty voice, well suited to his frame. I once saw him struggle to fit through a door. The pockmarked guard glanced toward the horizon line, gritting his teeth. Pockmarked guardsman. But sir, enough! We will ride. Enough. We will be rid of her today. Be rid of me? Like being rid of some piss-stained rug? How rude! What did I ever do to warrant such an objectification? Feeling vexed, I continue to groan and yowl against the hemp between my teeth. Inarticulate. It's inarticulate and far from the most graceful sound I've ever made, but I make it sound increasingly urgent. Noise and more noise. One of them pulls the reins of his horse, dismounting with a dull, armored clatter, like rattling dish cabinet. It is the young one. Good. He approaches me, muttering swears as he reaches back to yank the gag out of my head. What? Convict, what is it now? Okay. Most people buy me a drink before they bring out the gag. Wink. You're all ingrates, you hear me? Low-browed, barbaric bonehead, the whole lots of you. Since we are a bard... Oh, her eyes even changed, guys. She goes from like, there. My thing broke down. Let's leave it hang. And the other eye switched to like a little bit aggressive. Let's go with the persuasion of the guard. He's young. Maybe he likes a young lady. Maybe we can convince him to maybe give me a comfortable ride instead of like being a piece of bag. Most people buy me a drink before they bring out the gag. Wink. Oh, that's what we said. Me, a prisoner. Stop it! He hisses the words low and... stop it. He hisses the words low under his breath. Through his ears glow a treacherous shade of tomato red. Ooh, we got him! It wasn't funny the first time, and it won't be funny the next. There won't be even the next time at the rate we're going. I can say it again pretty fast, I think. Gods, you really haven't learned your lesson, have you? What's wrong with you? He almost sounds amazed. If my hands weren't untied, I'd twirl my wrists and do a kirsty. I don't know what a kirsty is, probably a punch. So instead I sidled up to him, reaching out to brush my knuckles near his waistband. Ooh. What's wrong? I wager you know exactly what's wrong. I was under the impression we'd moved this ritualistic sacrifice as a civilization, you see. I thought we were better than all this. Yet here you knucklehead are dragging me through the woods to feed me to a godforsaken vampire. I stomp on a branch when I get close enough to ensure crack obscures the sound as I unsheath the dagger from his belt. I palm it under my sleeve in quick motion, hoping my ruse goes unnoticed. The guard stumbles away from me. He draws his sword to keep me at bay, snarling. You keep away, you heretic! Don't come near me! I raise my bound wrist in front of my chest, widening my eyes to look inappropriately frightened. I still have his dagger. By the time he clambers back into his horse, his older companion extends his arms and smacks the back of the young guardsman's head. Idiot! Now we have to listen to her belly yacht for the rest of the journey. Do we? The younger guard rubs his head, sounding defensive. She caused nothing but trouble. Why not slit her throat and be done with it? Let the wildlife take care of the remains. Ah! The old guard hits him again. I'd find humor in the slapstick routine if they weren't discussing my imminent demise. Shush, boy. We carry Her Majesty's order to the letter. You and I, no shortcuts. You know the severity of our laws. Underhanded practices will cause your damn hands. Pocket guard, the pock-marked guard, hunches further at shoulder. His eyes dart around like he wants to argue, but he begrudgingly clamps his mouth shut. I, on the other hand, have a dodged penchant for making my observations known, and I am blessed with my quick retorts. Or it just cost the fingers if you're lucky. I noticed our wise old man here is missing a digit or two. I raised my restrained palms, wiggling my fingers. They glower balefully at me. Wow, difficult English, guys. They growl balefully at me. I've seen actual battlefields, harlot. Do not liken me to your crooked, bar-brawling ilk. Convict, heretic, and now harlot. Wonderful. I roll my eyes and wrinkle my nose. I'll bet anything that the old man is lying. Illuvia hasn't waged any wars in the past half-century. Furthermore, he boasted to my jailers he's been assigned to this post for the brunt of his service to the crown. But I know better than to push my luck with him. He's more prone to violence than the other guardsmen. I used to lag behind at the start of a journey, defiant and stubborn. The old one never hesitated to yank the rope against my wrist, lurching me right into brambles and sharp stones. Defying him, I learned, meant having scraped palms and knees at best. Our pace carefully slows when we cross over mossy log and a series of thick tangled roots. For the horse's sake, of course, rather than mine. I work my jaw in silence for a while, keeping the measured distance behind them. My grip on the dagger is unwielding and clumsy. Aiming it toward my bones is trickier than I imagined. I flinch as the pointed tip jabs against my inner arm, but shoot the guards a whining smile when they turn to look at me. So, good old forest, huh? Did you volunteer to escort prisoners through the blighted brush, or was it an inherited post? Father and such? The pockmarked guard scoffs and mimics my words under his breath. Nothing to fear in these Nothing to fear in these old woods, lass. Not if you're properly armed. Nothing but bears and wolves. People steer clear because they fear what lies in a wait beyond. Surely you know that much. The men don't deign to tell me how they were assigned to their roles. None of my business, I suppose. Any overhead company of an overhead company of leaves parts, allowing patches of sunlight to heat my scalp and cheeks. The journey has been long and exhausting, but not altogether difficult. I've even considered it idyllic from my perpetual backdrop of bird songs and distantly running water. Any sense of leisure sinks and coils at the pit of my stomach as I realize the birds have gone silent, and the sound of water has risen into a dull roar. Before us is a murky disk of water, blemish green with algae, miles long, miles wide, and a harrowing uncertain depth. A jagged, ostentatious estate, protruding from the ground like a sword through someone's back, looms across the water's expanse. Not the first decrepit castle I've seen in my travels, but perhaps it may be my last. That's where I'll be staying then. Home sweet home, huh? Shit. I've barely shorn through the quarter of my restraints. Even if I break for it now, they'd run me down on horseback. I tried it before, back when we marched me through the greater plains. They nearly trembled me into paste. Quiet down, you sorry lass. You may wish to make this time to consider your last words. That's not a bad idea. I could hit you with a real zinger before I go. The old guard groans, mumbling a bitter prayer. I barely have time to hide the dagger before he dismounts and shoves me with more force than necessary. Oh. He loads me unceremoniously into ramshackled little boat, leaving the pockmarked guard to deal with me while he tends to the horses. Savagery. They keep beating me and shoving me. My breath catches when the remaining guard takes the seat opposite to me. His gawky movement nearly makes the boat capsize before we even left shore. The boat cuts through algae like a knife. Over on dry land, the old guardman takes a heavy seat in the grass and watches the sun descend. It's a more serene view than he deserves. Take a deep breath and open my mouth to shout. Overgrown prune? You old bastard. Let's make it bored-like. You overgrown prune? The young guard bites his back and chuckles and clears his throat. I suppose he's freer to find revelry now that he's a safe distance away. As I warily crank my neck around, I observe how the water completely surrounds the estate and makes this moat. Wow, difficult English, guys. As I warily crane my neck around, I observe how the water completely surrounds the estate. That makes this a moat. But there's curiously isn't a drawbridge in sight. At its northeast and westward edges, the moat connects to a river. Flowing one side will likely lead one straight to the Rhapsodic Ocean. It is quite lovely, really, to be surrounded by such wealth of natural water. Shame, I never learned how to swim, though. I don't suppose I can persuade you to ferry me over yonder, all the way around the estate, on the other side of the shore. The guard elects not to reply. He won't even look at me now. Aside from the oars carving through the water, he remains... Difficult English. Aside from the oars carving through the water, the remaining boat ride is hushed and nerve-wracking. I sit up straight and stock still, trying to keep my weight centered despite the stinging insects nipping at my neck and ankles. The sun turns red as it dips closer to the horizon. Takes half an hour to reach the other side, if not longer. Beyond the lip of the water is a carved ledge with the tip of trenches surrounding the estate perimeter. Ooh, nice. The guard wasted no time forcing me upright and pushing me off the side. I fall into a roll barely cushioned by the impact of grassy mud. I aim myself back up with effort, ready to yell the insult boiling at the tip of my tongue. To my surprise, the young guard is still up here, lingering at the edge. Miss me already? Hesitating doesn't make you better than him. Let's persuade him. Miss me already? I quirk my head to the side and bat my eyelash at him. His response is slow and deliberate. I won't even remember you by tomorrow. I hardly know you now, convict, and you don't even know my name. Who needs names? We are two ships passing in the night, you and I. But it's not too late to change that, We can still run off in the sunset together. Come on, help me up. With the sun setting behind the guardsman, his features are cast in unreadable shadow. His fingers twitch and tap at the side. He casts an uneasy glance over his shoulder before finally he grumbles and rummages through his overcoat. From it, he pulls out a neck of a familiar instrument and throws it to the ground with me. I cry out as my lute lands in the mud, nearly falling into my own shoulder as I reach and fail to catch it. You'll owe me in your next life, convict. I hope this accursed thing provides you some comfort in your final moments. I glare up at him. Old guy made you nervous, didn't he? All the talk about cutting off hands for being underhanded? Shut up. I knew you were acting jumpy for a reason, I just knew it. You were gonna pawn off my poor little beauty here. But now you don't want to risk getting caught with it. Harlot! He spits at me before he hurries away. I listen for the sound of the boat lushing into the water, and then the creak of oars shortly thereafter. Now why is it that when people don't know how else to argue with a woman, they must remark how infrequently she has sex? With effort, I dislodge the dagger from the inside of my sleeve. It is still unwieldy, but cutting myself loose is a little easier when I don't need to hide the blade from my captors. I pick up my lute, carefully wiping off the dirt and grime before I check and adjust the strings. I holster it across my back, where it belongs. It's thankfully intact, but I'm not sure I can say the same about myself. I know I need to come up with a plan, and I need to explore and get familiar with my surroundings, seek out a hiding spot while there's still daylight. My entire body is aching. I won't get far if I push myself now. I check the inside of my clothes for the last of my possessions, kept safe and hide under linen. I've never been more grateful to have learned invisible stitching. A handful of coins and my songwriting journal are all I have left. I had hid a number of small blades in my persona, but I was too reckless in my previous escape attempts. I kept getting caught and they confiscated all my knives. The guardsman dagger isn't too shabby, at least. I tucked the blade into my belt, careful not to poke myself. I'll be ready to use it when it's dark. The ledge I fell from cast a long shadow. I edge away from it into the remaining light, and I concentrate into taking deep, rejuvenating breaths. This creature of night, I've heard it can change into very shape. If it pursues me in the form of some animal, I doubt I can outrun it for long. It's wisest to save my strength. It's wisest to save my strength, so I can battle whatever form it takes. After all, I'm determined not to go down easily. Chapter 2, Rhapsodic Introduction. Dusk falls. There's barely a sliver of apricot orange glowing across the horizon, which means my shelter of light dims and shrinking by the minute. I shiver as the evening cold burrows under my clothes, and I sense the vampire just a moment before I hear it speak.
Well, well, another gift from the crown.
There is voice acting! Nice! He has a lovely voice. Damn it, I'm jealous. Oh, he has such an epic voice. This creature's array. Serpentine voice moves around me as it prowls beyond the perimeter of remaining light. It's watching me, circling me like a vulture.
What grievous crimes you must have committed to be sent all the way here.
Oh, I love his voice. Such an epic voice. Oh, man. I threw my dagger, pointing at the source.
Assessing your dinner, beast? Your mother should have taught you not to play with your food.
Nice. I love her voice as well. The voice lapses into contemplating hum. My heart hammers against my ribs as I lost track of the vampire in silence. I twist around, catching sight of its eye reflection in the moonlight, right when it lunges. Rah! The vampire snatched me by my wrist. The skin is on its dark, cloud hand, bubbles under the waning sunlight before it wrenches me into the shadows. My dagger clatters on the ground.
You're talkative. I usually like it when they're talkative.
Ooh, what a player!
But yours is an insolent nature. No doubt you've ended up here by disrespecting some local authority.
The vampire hoists my arm above our heads, positioning us face to face as he regards me. I scrutinize him in turn. He bears similarities to a human man, but still I glance upward, observing his already healed hand with dismay.
You smell of chain rust, fresh soil, dried blood, and incense.
Yeah, I'm a big hit with nuns and orphans.
Oh, I love them. What am I doing? This isn't the time for banter. I struggle in his grasp. He steps forward, and we remain blanketed under the gloom of darkness. There's a small clatter underfoot as he drives his boot under my dagger, kicks it upright, and then snatches the blade out of the air in a fluid motion. He twists the dagger between his long fingers, appraising it.
Most unusual. Few of my guests manage to smuggle a means to escape their bonds. If I had to wager, you must be a talented cutpurse, which wouldn't be the worst offense, all things considered.
Stop manhandling me!
With my free open palm, I smack him hard across his face and yank my captive hand free. It flinches at the blow, looking more astonished than anything. I don't stay long enough to watch how he reacts next. I run. My lungs are heavy in my chest and my body is screaming at me to catch my breath. But I can't stop now. There's nothing I can use in this courtyard. My only choice is to head into the estate and hope to find a means of escape. There's got to be a ladder or something I can use to scale that damn ledge. Then I just need to find something buoyant, like a wood panel or a door, something. I run down dizzying, identical hallways, down several cavernous rooms, displacing dining chairs and overturning saloon and tables in my wake. There is nothing I can use to escape, nothing I can narrow down in my panic. All the while, the vampire follows me with an even stride. He rubs his cheek with narrowed eyes.
Will you slow down? This is terribly tedious.
No.
He hasn't changed his shape, but I know how quickly he can pounce if I let him near. I can't let him get close. I topple a nearby cabinet, sending it careening into the floor between us. The vampire makes a small, offended noise amid the sound of clashing glass. But before he can react further, I seize his standing vase and hold it aloft, ready to throw.
Stop. Stop it. Calm down.
I pivot my grasp on the lip of the vase, bending my arms menacingly. Water flowering sloshes onto the floor.
You dare to tell me to calm down? Really?
There's an audible muffling sigh when the vampire steeples his hands in front of his nose.
I despise the chase. Look at this blasted mess. Do you realize no one else lives here? After you're gone, who do you think has to clean up the remains of your rampage?
That's his biggest problem.
I'm sorry. Are you criticizing the way I'm fighting for my life?
You must understand, mortal. Despite what the good people of Illuvia will have you believe, I have no bestial compulsion to take your life, alright? Though I'll admit you have sorely tempted me with the prospect of your demise, there is a civilized alternative worth considering.
Interesting. A civilized alternative of becoming withered, bloodless corpse decorating his hallway? I keep the vase aloft, halfway between willful rebellion and uncertain curiosity.
I'm listening.
That is all I ask. First of all, this here.
He dangles the dagger from between two fingers, as if it's a dirty sock he found in my chambers.
As a show of good faith, I will return to you this nasty little thing. In exchange, you will not stab me with it. Its blade is neither sharp nor long enough to kill me, but it will deeply annoy me. If I am deeply annoyed, I will be forced to rescind my good faith and tear you to shreds. Understood?
Yeah, I furrow my brows, but not. It makes sense. If I actually want to incapacitate him, I'd at least need a larger weapon. I've yet to hear any myths where vampires are notorious weak to standard cavalry daggers.
Good girl. Here.
He tosses the dagger over to me. It slides along the floor until I stop it with the heel of my boot. I don't bend to pick it up.
Our next matter at hand is the barter. I've been known to spare and set my prisoners free in exchange for knowledge or for an item of substantial value.
Oh,
Fortunately for you, I noticed the loot strapped to your back while you were racing through my abode.
Oh no. I pivot my torso away, trying in vain to hide the instrument from sight.
Come now, don't be selfish. Give it to me and you will have your freedom. Your life will be yours again. Keep away from Illuvia and lay low for several years, and the crown will be none the wiser.
That's quite a nice bargain, I would say.
Can't.
What?
I've cared for it ever since I was a little girl. How can I possibly give it up now?
Can't give it to you. No.
That,
I nearly lost it once already.
that's not a good choice, girl. You're going to die.
Nothing is stopping you from purchasing a new one once you have your freedom. Certainly you'll have to save up for a while. I recognize the value of an average instrument, let alone how much an artisan lute must cost now after centuries of inflation. However, you will have plenty of chances to...
No. No. I said I won't give it to you.
Stubborn.
Why not?
Why is he angry at me? Hypocrite! I raise my voice to match his tone. I can't help it. I get competitive. Girl, you're competitive for what? It's your life or the loot.
You imply me to be insensitive on the grounds of trampling through your home, but what about you? Demanding my only means of providing for myself.
Your only means? Nonsense. You're able-bodied, young, far from hideous. Once you have your freedom, I'm quite certain you'll figure something out.
Oh, his fangs are showing.
Your venerable age must have impaired your hearing then, vampire, because I'm not sure you quite caught it when I repeatedly said no! I am not giving it to you!
Fine, then you're not leaving.
Oh, that's like two stubborn teenagers arguing. He flings his hand skywards, turning and stalking towards the nearest
I
window.
pray you'll have fun rotting in here for the remainder of your brief and miserable existence, mortal. At which point you and I might have something in common.
Oh. He's gone. Oh, back. He erupts into a vicious flurry of black mist. Once the smoke clears, I see the flapping outline of a bat soaring out the window into the night. I groan between gritted teeth, jostling the stupid face that I am still holding over my head. As tempting as it is to smash it, I set it down and begin gathering the displaced flowers with a dejected sigh. The blooms are vibrantly fresh and fragrant, but they're going to wilt without water. Gods! I just got into a screaming match with a vampire and upset him so much that he had to, I don't know, go take an angry nap? I'm still alive. I should really count this as a win, but I don't know. My chest is tied with apprehension. I wasn't supposed to annoy him. He said he'd rip me to shreds if I annoyed him. Damn it, god damn it, what have I done? I should have offered to barter with him or something else. I doubt he'd be interested in a few coins I have, and I can't bear the part with my music, but he did mention an option to trade knowledge. Even if he had centuries to experience the world around us, surely there's an obscure nugget of wisdom I can impart. After all, I like to think that everyone I meet teaches me something new. I'll have some leverage if I can figure out what he already knows. And if I can't, then I need to find something else I can protect myself. A dagger will be of little use aside from cutting rope. Ooh yeah, Chapter 3, Stray Dog Serenade. I like where this is going, guys. I like it, I love it. We will save it. We'll save it as an empty slot, please. Yes, good. We will, I don't know how many chapters there are, guys, but we will probably leave those for the next episode. Hope you enjoyed the story so far. Hopefully my voice acting wasn't too terrible. If not, just drop a comment down below, improvements, and just your general thought about this game, guys. And as always, thank you very super much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment down below, and I will see you in the next episode. Have a good day, everyone.